One of the biggest challenges in making an open world game is keeping performance smooth. So, I built a chunk loading system in Godot that dynamically loads and unloads the world around the player. As you move between chunks, the system streams TileMapLayers data in and out automatically, so only nearby terrain stays loaded. But it doesn't stop at tiles. The same system can also support unloading and loading entire scenes as resources, letting me spawn things like trees, decorations, interactables, and other world objects only when they're needed. That means lower memory usage, better performance, and a world that can scale far beyond what is possible with loading everything all at once. Setup for the chunk loader is pretty easy. All you have to do is open up the chunk baker test under the tests directory, under the add-on, under scenes. I have a chunk baker test scene here. And all you have to do is click on the world chunk baker and hit bake world. And what that'll do, it'll create 20 chunks and 5 scenes and save it to the chunks directory here, which you can see here. So it saves all these as resource files and has a manifest of all the resource files here. And these bake settings are easily configurable. You can just create a new resource called chunk bake settings. And you can also configure the chunk size. I set it to default of 256 by 256, which I think is a pretty good size. And then you set the tile layers root to the root node that will have all of your tile map layers. Feel free to add as many tile map layers as you need. I just have one in the example, but it supports multiple layers. It'll look through everything inside of this tile layers root. And then the world objects is where all of your scenes go. So for this sample scene, I have a bunch of trees here. Make sure that they are scenes. To do that, you can just drag them into your scene, just a folder anywhere. Like if this was not a scene, I could just drag it in there and it'll turn it into a scene. And then as an example of running this world, I created another test file or test scene called chunk runtime world. And notice that this scene doesn't have any tile map um, tiles in it because it's going to stream what's loaded or what was created in the baking process, these, whenever you start the game. Also notice that the world objects node here does not have any scenes, but whenever the game starts, it will load those from the resource files. So I'm going to start up the world and I'm going to go to the remote section. You can see that the runtime world has spawned in the scenes, the sprites, as the trees here. And the tile map layer here has also been loaded in. And it's only streaming what is visible. And to define the visible range, all you have to do, also notice that the sprites are actually getting loaded and unloaded here. You can see over in the left-hand side, whenever I go away, all those trees that clump of trees goes away. So to configure the viewable range, to configure the visible radius, you just go to the chunk manager and change this. So if I change this to 1, which you would probably never do, you'd probably want to increase it from 2, honestly, especially if you're zoomed out more. So just feel free to change that to whatever you like. And then if I rerun the world, notice that this is only loading 1 radius around the player or the viewer instead of 2. Also notice that it doesn't load anything that's empty. So there's nothing going on right here, so it's not loading anything there because it never created a chunk for it. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. Feel free to modify these files and make it your own. And I really hope it's useful for your game because it's been useful for mine. Um, if you want to follow the development of my game, go ahead and check out Mushroom Merchant um, on my itch.io page, and it should be on Steam soon. Um, or a Steam page should be up soon, not releasing soon. But yeah, I hope this is useful for you, and leave a comment if it is, if it isn't, if you want improvements on certain things. Yeah, I am excited to see what you all make with it. So please share that with me.